Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. I'm your host Dr. Nick and welcome back to the 90s Guys Show. I've covered many topics during this show. I've covered TV shows, music, technology. There's so many things that I could talk about from the 80s and 90s and even early 2000s that bring back so much nostalgia. And nostalgia is different for different people. Some of it can actually bring back really good feelings. Some can bring back rather bad feelings. The way that our brain works with nostalgia is we associate, at least in my mind, I associate music, toys and stuff, TV shows that I grew up with times that were simpler and a lot better in my mind. So today, I'm going to talk about TGIF, which ran from 1989 until 2000 on the ABC network. Now, originally, after 2000, they tried bringing it back, but it just wasn't the same. There was a bunch of different shows, and, it just didn't have the same spark that it once had. But in 1989... the original shows were actually Perfect Strangers, which of course was a show about Larry Appleton and his cousin Balky from Mypos. Larry moved to Chicago, and all of a sudden a cousin that he never knew that he had, named Balky, came from Mypos. And, of course, Larry tried to teach him the ways of living in America. Very good show. I believe it ran about 8 seasons, I believe. Another good show, which was on, very good, and has reprised it with Fuller House. Full House was on there, of course, the story of Full House with Danny and his brother. Or not his brother, but his wife's brother, after she passes away in a car accident, and then a friend of Danny's. They all help raise their girls together. The show ended in 1995, and it's now on season 3 of the reprised remake. Well, not necessarily a remake, but the Fuller House series is now on season 3. Very good show. Definitely something you should check out. Another show on there during the first season of TGIF was a show which I don't really remember. The show was called Mr. Belvedere. It was about a butler, and it basically, the show was about him getting used to being in the people's house that he worked for, being a mentor to one of their kids, and there was a lot of really touchy issues that they touched on during the series, such as AIDS and bullying and a bunch of other things like that. I don't remember the show. I don't remember. I remember maybe seeing a couple episodes, but I do not remember it that well. And then there was another show that was a Growing Pains spinoff, and that was a show called Just the 10 of Us. I remember that vaguely. It basically, the typical family show about a guy and his kids. Very, very wholesome, G-rated. Very, very good show for what I can remember. I remember it ran in syndication on USA Network after that, I believe. And then, of course, Family Matters joined shortly after that. And of course, Family Matters. You had Carl Winslow and his family, and he was only supposed to be on one episode. Steve Urkel, which also was on an episode of Full House, and fans loved him so much he became a reoccurring character. It was about a working class family. Carl Winslow was a Chicago police officer. And if I remember correctly, his wife worked for a newspaper. I'm not 100% sure. He had 3 kids, Eddie, and then of course Laura, which was the love interest of Steve Urkel and Judy, which never was seen again. During an episode, she went upstairs and she was just forgotten from the series. And then later on, you had the addition of, I believe it was Harriet's sister and the little boy, Richie. And I believe the sister's name was Rachel, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I've seen the show. And the funniest character besides Steve Urkel was Eddie's friend Waldo, which was like a big doofus. Pretty much every response he had to something was like, "Goo." But it's a good show, classic show. They announced the other day that they're actually going to be tearing down the house. They didn't actually film in the house, but they filmed the exterior at that house. They're tearing it down in Chicago as we speak. Another show that was actually replaced with a show called Baby Talk, which was sort of a spin-off off the Look Who's Talking show. It didn't last very long. Late 92 was a show with Patrick Duffy and Suzanne Summers. Step by Step joined the lineup. And you remember Patrick Duffy from the show Dallas. Suzanne Summers was from many different shows. Suzanne Summers, I don't remember what her first show was, but I remember her from All in the Family. Dinosaurs. Boy Meets World joined in 93. Clueless in 96. And then two shows that which did not last very long was You Wish and Teen Angel. You Wish was about this lady that went into a store, bought a carpet, and inside the carpet was, I believe, a genie, if I remember correctly. And the show wasn't bad, very corny. It actually had some cameos from Jerry Van Dyke. It was an okay show. And then Teen Angel. I remember the first episode I watched where it was these two guys and they're hanging out in this dude's room, and he dares him to eat a hamburger from Halloween from who knows how long it was, and he ate it and he died, and then he came back as an angel to help out his buddy. Sabrina the Teenage Witch was added in 98. And then 98 to 99, Two of a Kind, which starred Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen. It was the first TV show they had done since the ending of Full House in 95. Pretty decent show. Wasn't bad. It only lasted a couple seasons. TGIF officially ended in the year 2000. And as of right now, September 29th, Hulu is bringing back TGIF. They're airing Full House, Family Matters, Step by Step. I mean, that's just awesome. I remember watching these shows every Friday night. I'd get out of school, I'd go to the video store, rent some Nintendo games or Genesis, and I believe it started about maybe 7 o'clock is when TGIF started, and I was always psyched to watch my shows, and I would record them on a VHS tape, and I would watch them numerous times during the weekend. It's crazy, but such good shows. I'm not saying today's TV's bad, but it just seems like the shows that I grew up with, especially on Friday nights, were family-oriented. They definitely focused on lessons in life. The characters were very relatable. And I guess in my mind, the whole point of a TV show or a movie is to escape reality and just relax for a while and enjoy something funny, maybe something a little bit serious. That's okay too. But all in all, the whole premise of it is these shows were very good, very memorable. And, if you have some of these TV shows on DVD or once Hulu starts airing them, it's going to be great. But anyways, I want to thank everyone for subscribing. I hit 366 subscribers. I appreciate all the views, all the comments, and I will see you all later.